nation. Jewish nation on the basis of Jewish religion, very consistent. They have been they're keeping its religion in that country in that circumstances.
그런 관점에서 보면 종교 믿지 않는 나라에서 그런 성격이 있는 그 나라는 반드시 후대에 남아진다 하는 관점이 끝나는 것입니다. 또 종교 가운데도 그와 같은 관념을 가지고 더 참고 더 숙고하는 사람은 남아진다.
So you can conclude that even the non-religious country, the one who tolerates and the one who perseveres, will be the longest lasting. The chance of lasting the longer than others. That means the final victory too. The chance of victory more so there, and also as well as in a religious nation, such as a formal religion like a Jewish nation. Such a nation will outlast than other nations. We can and not only that, that component of race is just one single race. The component of that country, like China, Korea, or Jewish nation, they must be just one race nation. Not many race mixed up together to make that country, but rather one race. Here in Europe, it's like a brother country more, isn't it? Brother country. They're readily mixed, and they have been mixed in the past. You cannot really distinguish from one race to the another, not very distinctly. So that kind of country, they're kind of ready to mix with in brotherly sisterly relations rather readily. They are the ones who to expand fast. To expand fast in horizontally. You can go anywhere immediately. You win friends there, and you win success, and you expand yourself. And they are readily to be mixed even unto the marriage, and the marriage is the utmost form of mixture. You know that mixing with the other race and other people. It just become one.
중국이나 중국 국민에도 한국 그런 문제들은 제일 나라가 한국이야.
And the country who perhaps has the most stubborn and the most consistent idea about not mixing so readily is China, and even beyond China, even more so than China, is Korea. So Korea is a country with the most conservative feeling about the marriage. And then, as you already know, Jewish never want to. But the Jewish always consists one condition. Even though the pagans come, the outside the religion come, they will never marry until they assimilate your religion. But as simple as it goes through the ritual of circumcision on a male, then they accept them as one of them. And they marry freely.
이렇게 볼 때 하나님은 종교를 통해서 하나님의 성령이 나옵니다. 하나님은 뭘 가르치든 참으라 참고 용서하라 용서하고 그걸 그 말이라고 오늘하고 겸손해라 그 말이 뭐냐면 참고 견디라는 말이야.
So when we look back to the whole history of man and God, of course, then we come to know that the history has been the history of religion, and through this religion, God has taught the mankind to be humble and forgiving. That means, in other words, it's the same as saying persevere. To be humble, that means persevere, and forgiving, that means then you think it over before you do something rather hastily.
Good point.
So the humble and forgiving is the same as this the long sought concept.
기독교가 하나님의 주기를 받들을 사랑하라. 거기서 미워할 사랑하라. 사랑하라. 큰 거로 봤었잖아요.
And this Christian Christianity, what is Christianity special for? Actually, the Christian is same in every other religion except this one point of loving. Actually, the loving is the most advanced, one step more advanced than any other religion we have ever seen on history. Loving. Not only forgiving, but loving. That's one step ahead of all the concept and spirit of religions.
그렇기 때문에 하나님은 기독교를 중심 삼고 세계적인 이런 섭리를 진행시킬 수 있다 하는 것을 우리가 찾을 수, 이런 관점을 찾을 수 있다.
So we can understand God in this respect, that this is how God was able to promote Christianity and encourage the people to persevere and to contemplate, and God has been able to continue on to dispensation until this moment, which has been extremely difficult, as you already agreed to.
하나님 자신이 사탄년도 전부 다 답변을 빼앗기 때문에 원수를 사랑할 수 있는 관념을 찾으면 독선 실패. 완성은 없어.
You see, God lost His own loving sons and daughters to Satan, which is an enemy. And if God lacked the idea of forgiving the enemy and loving, then recovering all that lost son, or in other words, restoration history would never have been possible if God did not have that spirit of forgiving and loving.
그렇잖아?
Isn't that right?
원수를 사랑하는 것에 얼마나 참여하고 얼마나 생각을 많이 하고 하는 거야. 그런 애가 뭐라고 어떻게 한다고 그래요?
We say a lot of things, and we contemplate a lot of things where we have to think one thing rather deeply, is that how difficult it is to tolerate against the enemy, and especially enemy taking your own precious thing, and you have to persevere in love. How much perseverance, tolerance it takes on your part, and yet you have to love them. Then imagine, you may not have the potent enemy now, but you just imagine right this minute you have an enemy, and when you have that enemy, how difficult it is to put up with them. Not only that, if he does something awfully bad to you, you must love him. How difficult. So you hate so much enemy that at the first sight you want to kill them. There's no question about that. That urge in you, because that's enemy. If you have that enemy, but you have to take that the daughter of that enemy and bring it into your household. Not only that, you not only have to put up with them, but also you have to love them more than your own son.
아내를 삼아가지고 누구라도 사랑하는 어떤 나라 사람도 더 사랑하는 그런 아내를 돼야 된다. 그래야 복귀선 약한 것을 넘어가죠.
And you have to take that enemy, the daughter of your enemy, and then you have to bring your household and make your wife, and then not only not just to hate your wife, but you simply have to love them more than anybody else in the world. And this is the restoration history, dispensation, and you must do that. And this is a perfection. When you do that, then you perfect yourself. Then how? Can you imagine what Father is trying to explain you? God would never be able to complete His dispensation of restoration without thinking these. God thinks and all over again and thinks for millions of billions of times, then He has to come to one conclusion. Well, I had better do that, otherwise the restoration history will never come to perfection.
그 외에는 길이 없다. 그 외에는 길이. 그 외의 길이도 하나님도 그게 문제야. 이게 이길 필요가 이게 신이래.
God has thought about this for thousands and thousands times, and if there were any better way for God to accomplish His will, accomplish His restoration, He would certainly have taken that. He certainly would take that. But as it is, he thinks, and this is a conclusion he inevitably has come to.
응? 그걸 무슨 생각이 안 하나, 무슨 생각?
Imagine the livelong day and
무슨 생각이 안 하나?
day and night, this contemplation. Contemplation, that means think and think over and over again, and then continue on thinking, even beyond that, and on thinking with all to no end. Contemplation. What is there? Just God did not think one time or another. What is there that God left out thinking? There's no such a thing. God has left out thinking. He thought everything over and over again for millions of times and thousands of years. There's nothing God did not think. God did not contemplate.
이렇게 볼 때 어느 날 종교를 중생고 볼 때 일반 국가보다도 종교단체, 종교는 참고 남을 위하는 이런 세상에 나와. 용서하고 반영하고 참고 생각을 많이 하면서 나오는 거예요. 생각을 많이 해야 된다는 얘기.
So, religion actually has thought, did more thinking than any other field of study, if you say, or any other way of life. Religion is the one who thought and thought, who did most thinking. And he not only thought, but forgave, not only forgave, but tried their best to love. And this is a religion.
그래서 개인에서부터 국가, 세계를 두고 하나 땅을 두고 살 것이야. 이 평화를 깊이 참는 거예요.
Not only in one given way, but in many different ways, in many different possibilities. Individual way, the group way, the country way, and all different aspects, religion has done thinking.
그래서
Do you understand?
깊이 참고 깊이 생각하는 그런 종교가 세계를 지배할 것이다. 이런 결론이 나옵니다. 왜? 하나님이 그렇기 때문에. 하나님 만든 종교를 통해 가지고 그런 일하니만큼 하나님이 그러한 그러한 경계에서로 세계를 지배하고 하나님의 성령을 받아들일 것이다.
And if there are many major religions, or number of major religions, then the criteria will be rather simple. We pick out one religion who thinks and thinks, who has the deepest thinking. That religion will be the main religion later to sort of rule the world. That means to influence the entire world according to that thought of that religion. Now, the reason is rather simple. Because God is that way. God himself has been thinking that way. So when he chooses some group to fulfill his dispensation, he would certainly choose that denomination or that religion, that major religion, to do his work. Now, do you agree to that? Then we look around the world. What religion falls into that category, to that description? Which religion is that way? Christianity?
기독교가 세상을 이기고 참 넘어서 생각해야죠. 세상을 버리고 생각.
Is Christianity now persevering with everything and accepting, loving everything? Rather than that, he has built a wall around him. Well, I don't care so much about others. We want ourselves to be saved and go to heaven.
세계를 버리고 생각.
Today, now, the Christianity is forsaking the world. He's giving up the world. And they are right up to here to think about their own self.
세계를 소화하려고 그러니까 뭐 정리하려고 그러지?
They don't try so much as trying to digest other people's problem or the other part of the country's problem. But rather, they want to isolate themselves from the troubled world and pursue the heaven rather independently. This is what they are doing now.
자, 그러면 하나님이 전부 다 세계로 정리되어 있나? 안 돼. 하나님은 그렇게 한다.
Then what about God? Is God isolated from the misery and isolated from that part of the people? Well, that part of the people, I don't care. I am only concerned about this much people, and this is what I care. God thinks that way? God is attached to everywhere.
우리 중생양 세계를 생각한다.
And the Muslim is the same way. Muslim may be the second major religion in the world. And today, they are pretty much the same. They cherish their own race and their own country and the color of the skin, but not to the end of the world. They don't care so much of the other races and other countries rather than their own. So they are rather hermit and isolated too. Buddhism is the same way. Buddhism never think about encompassing Christian religion. No. They don't know how and they don't care. They don't go out to the society and try to actively solve the problem the living in the secular world. They don't do that. They just isolate themselves in temple.
반영하면서 숙고하면서 세계를 위해서 살아갔다고 그럴 수 있는 점.
Then this religion.
그럴 수 있는 점이 있다면 하나님 필시 그런 정도를.
Then this religion we are looking for is the one religion who has all this thinking, all these elements there, and yet never isolate themselves from the most of the miserable, cruel part of the world. Even them, they are eager to go into and try to make them the part of their own life and problem. And eventually they are determined to bring this to the other side, which is the God side. And if there's one religion who has all these elements there, and then persevering again when they are persecuted by other religion, never give up and never hate either, and go on and on, then gradually digest and make the elements into themselves, and even to digest the enemy, even to forgive enemy and become friends with them, and later love them and teach that love, and sort of digesting them, even the enemy, and then determined to bring everything to God, then it must be that religion. Then where can you find religion of that description or category today? What about Unification Church? In fact, what somebody asks, what is Unification Church? Then this would be the answer. This is exactly the goal Unification Church is headed to. Well, Reverend Moon, all by himself from the Orient, came to this the turbulence and turmoil of the Western world, and persecuted to the impossible degree. But he being the most sensitive man, but is he going to be influenced by the Western people because the numbers are so absolutely many, or is he single-handed trying, and he is digesting everything in the world? Which way is he doing now? Do you think it is as easy as we say digest, or it is impossible to say even? Because it's so difficult. If Father is not any better than other people, then there will be an immediate crash, immediate struggle, and either one win the other. The war would have ended right there. If he had no perseverance, then he would disagree with everybody readily. But you can't do that. Even though you are absolutely right and you are even on the only God side, if it crashes and if it consumes, then there's nothing to fight against by anymore. So, only choice Father has to think again, tolerate once more. And that feeling of revenge and the feeling of anger is impossible, absolutely impossible to persevere, tolerate. But you simply have to do that. Do you understand? you are not so thinking, so you just listen, but this time rather carefully. Then Father is the one who is thinking, so he explains you what thinking is about. Then the listening people, not so much thinking but listening people, can really understand, oh, you are true, you are right. Then you try to bring yourself up to that thinking level also. Isn't that what you're doing? So if there is more persecution, that gives you more chance to think about. So, after all, persecution is never bad. Certainly not all bad, never, because it provides you with the indispensable ingredients.
영국을 소화하는 것이 미국 서구 사회의 공산세계까지 소화하고 사탄 지역까지 소화하다가 지역까지. 지역까지 소화하다가 그걸 계속까지 그렇게 행동을 하게 되면 공산당의 자연의 소화되는 거라.
And we are not only trying to tolerate or digest England when there is an opposition, or the Europe, but not only that, but the communist world. And that's not the end of it. If the communist opposes us and try to persecute us or try to even fight a war against us, we will put up with it. Not only that, we will eventually digest them. But not only that, our goal does not stop there. Even to the hell in the spirit world, we are quite ready to go and occupy and then love there and then bring it back here. So when we have that goal there, then communist is on an intermediate range.
그 하나님이 아직까지 참지 못하고 하나님하고 생각하지 못하는 이상까지 생각하자.
This is actually what we are. Then we have to think ourselves that. Then we had better do lots of persevering and lots of thinking. To the degree that even beyond the God's degree of thinking, we have to think and think again.
너들 매일같이 축사빠 매일같이 참기 어려워. 그러면 선지자들은 매일같이 참기 어려운 길을 가라.
So, if the Unification Church members are going intolerable path now, then the conclusion is so much the sounder. Then our credo, our Father's instruction is,
하나님이 되려면 교회에 관심 받는 것이 없다는 결론 나와요.
Then Father will say, that's the way the Unification Church go, so you must tolerate more and more. You're on the right path, so never think it is unusual. Just go right ahead. You're on the right track. Well, then while this happens, God will, look down from heaven down to you with the binoculars, with the glasses, looking glasses, and to see how the Unification Church members are doing. And He is doing exactly what God has been doing in the past, and what God has been expecting the worthwhile people to do. Then He is happy. What happens if God sees a binocular and look at you? Then the millions, billions of spirit men there, what is God looking at? Then they look at all the same. Billions of spirit men will look at the same object of God's observation, which is Unification Church.
그렇죠. 하나님과 영계가 전부 다니 이 지상은 영계의 반을 기준자가 마찬가지로 세상도 관심. 왜 천국교회 이 천국 안에서 관심이 갖고 얘기 이게.
Then what happens? Since this world is only the shadow of the real entity up in the spirit world, whatever happens in the spirit world, it's just like the entity and the shadow. Whenever they go, the shadow moves. Likewise, when they are concerned, every man on earth is also concerned. This is what you see every day. They persecute you, but they are never indifferent to you. They always are watchful to you. Why if they oppose you, why they just go away someplace? It's a strange thing if you think it that way. Those one who opposes you, if you oppose, then they go away and mind their own business because they should have a better thing to do. But it's not that. The people who oppose you, they watch. They oppose you and then they watch over you. What does he do next? And his mind is not someplace else. His mind right at you. And then he pokes you again. He opposes you again. And then he watches again. What does he do next? This is a tremendous. Once you know this fact, that means he is tagging along to you and watching over how you make out. And if you observe carefully the history of opposition, years ago they opposed from high place, they oppose you, they persecute you. But they come lower and lower, and now they oppose you like that. And then already that stage has gone by. They are down here, they oppose you. And later, it's very difficult to oppose that way. And they are doing that difficult opposition now. They have no reason to oppose, but they have to oppose, so they oppose like that. That means when they oppose like that, that pushes Unification Church higher. In fact, this is what's taking place. You can really clearly see this through the short years of history in America. America just did that, He just dispensed one laughter. One individual, what can he do? He doesn't know America. He said that. But as things went by, it's something different that they have ever imagined. And so they come down in the posture and then do that. And now this really. And especially, and after they saw the development in England, what they saw, how the English people responded to Unification Church and its idea, and Father, in one word, and they got the clubbers, with the invisible the club. They got beaten once. Oh, we never expected that way, you see. American people are insensitive people. That's one thing. American people, if there's anything that they hate, thinking is what they hate. They never say, they'd much rather on the go, they'd rather do this than thinking. And, they thought, well, the Reverend Moon, one is 1,000, so if we chase him out of the country, and Unification Church movement will come stand still, nothing more will develop. They thought that way, but not the religion, and certainly not the Unification Church. When Father left the country, then certainly more is there, more activity. Never changes routine, you see, more activity. The New York Times, the news world is going still strong. And, yesterday they say 200,000, circulation of 200,000 copies. And also, whatever Father does here, nevertheless, everything is reported in America, all the newspapers. So actually, it is immaterial. It doesn't make difference if Father's situated in America or situated in other countries. And still the same thing goes on.
한국 따라가면 미국이 뭐로 갔나? 마찬가지라.
What if Father goes to Korea, not even to Europe, but to the Korea, and then America will know just as well and as fast as what he is doing in Korea, than he is anywhere in the world. Even in America, same thing. In America, in Korea, no difference whatever. Such is the nature of religion and the Father's work.
너 지금 뭐 서울에서 원리가 좋다. 그 선생님이 생각 많이 해가지고 그것이 원리가 나온 거야. 그만 그렇게 버튼 생각나.
Well, now everybody agreed to one common point. The Divine Principle Unification Church. This is something fantastic. The people say that now. Then you can imagine that divine principle, which is something fantastic, has it come with a deep thinking and prayer, or just came off just like that with the revelation? Without doing anything, somebody taught him in dreams, and then he wrote a book. Is it, or is that the fierce fight with Satan, the bloody fight, and moment after moment of fighting for tens of years of contemplation, thinking about it? Is it this? Is the God secret that? Is the secret of Satan that way? How many thousands and millions of times Father must have thought about this one principle of fall? What is your guess? Just the instant thinking, or millions of times thinking? So you must. So you must take it from the lesson that you must think publicly much, not privately, not personally, but in your own the official function, public function. Actually, this concept of public and official, Korea has 공적. That means the God-centered thinking, if you call it. You have to do lots of that thinking. If you do, then you are the one who leads the tradition, and nobody can ever erase that achievements in the future. You have to think a lot, public-minded, or the official-minded, or the God-centered minded. So you, just like Father, is 24 hours thinking about the world problem, about God's problem, about the future of the religion, even unto the second generation of Unification Church members, which is a public center of public mindedness also. Father thinks, so you must think. Think and think. Do you understand? So always thinking, what would the future of communism be? If we are charged with the responsibility to save them, then how should we go? They will not accept us readily. So how they possibly will oppose us, but how we're supposed to get around to that and then embrace them and love them and bring them to God? And what would the African country be? Who would come to occupy Africa? And what should we do? All this kind of thinking, 24 hours, Father must do. When you do a lot of thinking, then the solution is bound to take image. Then, of course, you have to go straight line. Straight line is the closest distance from one point to the other point. You have to think much so that you can get it. Since God is doing that, if we do that, we don't need to ask anybody's assistance, not even to God, please help me. Because what God is doing and we are doing, since it's the same thing, nobody does anything but still go hand in hand. It's the same as helping. It's the same thing. We don't need to even call for help. Now, in your opinion, in your not so thought out thinking, do you agree that the Unification Church is going directly that path now?
Yes.
You are too busy to go door to door and then being called the names and persecuted, even to think about these things. And yet, when Father asks you your opinion, can you really say yes? Are you confident in saying yes?
Yes! 깨끗한 사람, 수많은 종족, 수많은 인도의 사람 제가 없기에는
So Father thinks about your work too. When Father thinks about your work, the Father thinks, well, these people go door by door, door to door every day, and not only persecuted one day, but many days. They had better have one thing strengthened in them, otherwise this will become not so meaningful. That thinking is you. You must think. You must think while you're going door to door what you are doing. And when you think, you must think that you're coming in contact with the thousands of different patterns of people. And even though you have no real future insight, no real reality insight, but you have faith in yourself and saying, let's meet 3 years later from now on. Or, if you're not confident in 3 years, then you can say, let's see 6 years from now on, where you will be and where I will be. Or even 10 years from now, even so much the better. Then what will I be then? Certainly you will be in a much better and higher position than you can even imagine. You have to be confident. Every door after door, they say, you may feel that you are the winner, and I indeed feel that I may be the loser at this moment. I am the one who is lower and then you are the higher. But I do not mind. 10 years from now on, let's see how the climate of the world, the history will change. Then maybe your own children will be influenced by my thought, my deep thought, the larger encompassing thought. So at that time, I will be the winner, and all the rest of you might have to be depending on me doing something good on you. You have to feel that. Only resolution you will come to is, I don't care now. I don't really concerned so much about what I am and where you are. But let us see, 10 years from now on, you have to have that resolution. I will only try harder. I will only try harder than you. Then, rest of them is time, matter of time. 10 years from now on, as long as I try harder today and tomorrow, 10 years from now on, I will find myself somewhere, I can even imagine now, where you'll be down there. You think, we are now making foundation. So it is a natural thing that you are in an upper hand than I am. But what happens was, as soon as we finish building our foundation, then that foundation will pick me up. I don't have to do anything. That foundation will pick me up. God will pick me up. Then I will be in a lot better position than you are. Only if I try harder today, tomorrow, for 10 years. This is the only logical conclusion we come to ourselves. The Father is that way too. And this is what Father felt too. 10 years ago now, 10 years ago, when Korea was not so accepting Father, they had all different kind of way of thinking. And then Father thought, you don't have to help me if I go to the world, if I go to, and I will build my own foundation. When I find this, build my foundation, then you will have to listen to me. Not only listen to me, but then you will understand me and try to depend on me, because you have no solution. So then you will realize that and realize my position. Father felt that 10 years ago. Then Father has been persevering. Why do you have to persevere? Why do you have to endure? Why do you have to endure? Why do you have to endure? If you endure, why must you endure? Why just don't you fight immediately and win over or lose? Why don't you do that? Why do you keep enduring? we endure so that we become strong enough, or the stronger, the better foundation than the opposing people.
왜 숙고해야 되냐? 요거는 요거들을 지나게.
Then why do we have to contemplate? We contemplate so that we become better than other people, so that we can provide the leadership to them instead of the other way around. Instead of we follow them. No, we lead them, so we have to contemplate.
나를 키워주는 이런 자격으로서 흡사해. 얼마나 무서워요.
So all of these things we do in the persecution. Other people persecute you, goes against you, oppose you, but which give you sort of fuel to keep your fire going. Then you resolve yourself. I must try harder so that I make foundation. So persecution is not bad.
우리가 실력이 없고 기반이 힘이 있다가지. 저 장들이 힘이 있고 기반이 있다네. 알다는
Imagine this. If you have a big company and they pay you a higher salary, would they oppose you? Certainly not. They will come and get a job from you. We don't have foundation. That's why they oppose us. But if we have equal foundation, a better foundation, then they will respect us and they will follow you. You see. So it's a natural thing that we oppose because they have better foundation, we have a weaker foundation at the moment. Isn't that right? The only thing we can think of is we will make a better foundation, and we will endure until that time. Endure more. What if you stood up and got angry and fought them? Even though you win, you have no place to store that winning. You have no foundation. This is what we have to think now.